Okay, hi everyone, my name's Brittany Thompson, and for my slideshow presentation, I chose the topic of code switching inside the language classroom. My reasoning behind choosing this topic was that it relates to my previous teaching experience both abroad and in Canada. As well, it is a method that I've personally used and plan to continue using inside my classroom. So just to describe what this presentation will touch on, there are some definitions that need to be given surrounding the term code switching itself, after which we will look at the social, cultural, and political issues that arise when looking to incorporate code switching inside the classroom. These are both negative and positive. Lastly, we will look at how code switching can be used inside the classroom as an asset to language education. So starting with definitions. Code switching is defined as the mixing of two or more languages, dialects, registers, styles, or codes within the same exchange, either in the same sentence or through switching sentences. However, these are titled differently. The first, intrasentential, is switching that occurs within one sentence. An example would be, "You look tired, mon chéri," whereas intersentential is switching languages in separate sentences. An example would be in Finding Nemo when Dory begins to speak whale, and she chooses to use a different dialect in a separate sentence. Now, often while code switching is occurring, one language will be more dominant, but it is important to note that the speakers are competent and understand both languages. Now, code switching has also been used as an umbrella term for language switching, code mixing, code changing, and tag switching. However, for the purpose of this presentation, I will just be using the general term of code switching. In addition, there are similar terms that we need to distinguish from. Diglossia uses distinct languages depending on the situation. That could be using a different dialect at home versus the one that you use at work, and it is not a part of code switching. Nor is borrowing, which only occurs in monolingual speakers, meaning that they are only competent in one language and are adding a single word to the sentence. Nor is a pidgin or Creole. Now, a pidgin is when speakers use select words to communicate, but they do not understand or are not competent in the languages. And often, pidgins will lead to a Creole, which is an independent language and not a mixture or mixing of languages. Now we'll be looking at the negativity towards code switching inside the classroom. In the language classroom, focus is placed on the speaking component. Parents, teachers, and administrators want students to sound like native language speakers. Therefore, target language becomes exclusive inside the classroom, such as the immersion method. The idea is that it is more standard-like and would likely improve the overall model of speech, as the argument is that code switching does not occur in native speech habits. By including code switching, the learning process will also be slowed down and unproductive in nature. Often, language teachers see code switching as subtracting from the amount of target language exposure and providing a bad language model for students. Other issues include the belief that there is a lack of understanding of both languages, creating interference or inaccurate associations due to the contact between the languages. Additionally, it is thought that code switching should be avoided as all testing and marking would only occur in the target language and test the student's fluency and comprehension. Therefore, code switching is thought to be detrimental. Lastly, for teachers in an international setting or those who do not speak the heritage language of the students, teachers are in essence unable to determine why this was occurring and what was being said, creating the illusion of disrespectful students, off-topic conversations, lack of control in the classroom, and counterproductive behavior, furthering this negativity towards code switching inside the classroom. However, a lot of these issues can be challenged, and now we'll be looking at the benefits to code switching inside the classroom. Code switching, to start, has not been found to lessen the language repertoire and understanding. and has actually been found to be a natural occurrence and approach to language use. Through code switching, speakers have been found to have higher competencies in both language, in addition to a healthy, balanced brain. As well, code switching is found to occur in the everyday life of bilingual and multilingual speakers, meaning that by including code switching inside the classroom, there is more relevance to the students' lives after school is over. Now, code switching has been known to help to maximize learning, build rapport, give support to students, and decrease student anxiety. In addition, there is evidence that by not allowing students to switch or use their mother tongue, that they may end up with students more likely to fail academically or simply remove themselves from the school life. Code switching also allows for classrooms to become more realistic and personalized, as students are more willing to explore the target language in regards to their personal interests or speech styling. In addition, they are more likely to invest in their own education and explore the language in more ways than that was presented in the classroom, and such as exploring both language boundaries. Lastly, as students begin to believe in their language ability, they are able to learn vocabulary, begin to practice with fellow students, and gain confidence in speaking and understanding each language more. They become more confident by using both languages inside the classroom, that their self-consciousness decreases as they begin to understand the flexibility and fluidity of language usage. At the same time, because students are allowed to use the language they are most comfortable with, either with or without code switching, that also contributes to their own identity inside and outside of the classroom. The question that arises then is, how can code switching be used inside the classroom, either efficiently, effectively, or to keep students interested in learning the target language? Now we'll be looking at code switching inside the classroom from both the perspective of a teacher usage and student usage. Now, some examples of teachers using code switching include classroom management, or as a resource for communication and control of the classroom; a topic switch, where they use similarities between the languages to teach a certain topic; affective function is a language switch where a relationship is created between a teacher and a student, which can help students to create bridging between different language communities. Lastly, repetitive function is where a teacher will say something in the target language and repeat and go back and forth between the two languages to clarify, elaborate, or stress certain aspects of the target language. Now, student usage of code switching inside the classroom. So students can be given more freedom to explore the language with some leniency. In my experience, by allowing students to clarify with others in the class can lead to a more general overall class understanding, leaving them at similar language levels and not leaving anyone behind. As well, it can be used as a brainstorming technique where students can think of a project, play, or assignment in their native language before presenting in their target language. My teaching experience has shown that this actually leads to more vocabulary being discovered outside of the curriculum guidelines, as the students feel like teachers themselves. Lastly, by having them code switch in the class, students begin to start organically creating sentences with both languages to further expand on their understanding. To sum up, though there are many negative issues associated with code switching inside the classroom, there are as many or more positive aspects to be found. Each language teacher should explore how code switching can be an asset inside the classroom and allow students to inquire more on their own. This is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do look forward to reading your comments.